here we are. Hey there, and welcome everybody. I want to make sure we are live. Yes, we are. So welcome to another episode of our case study interviews here, the interview series that we're doing at Futuristic Academy, where we showcase real-life examples of people who are walking the millennial path, people who are highly successful and achieved entrepreneurs who have created their own careers, living their dreams, and making an impact in the world. And our goal with these interviews is, and also our more in-depth curriculum training inside Futuristic Academy, is that we inspire you and educate you so that you can too, if that's appealing to you, start creating your own millennial career, like we like to call it, and also taking it to the next level if perhaps you're already on that path, doing what you love, getting paid big bucks, and making a huge impact in society and the world. My name is Diana Altiva, and I'm one of 3 co-founders of the Academy. And in this video segment, I have the lovely opportunity to be speaking with an amazing woman. I had a days ago, was introduced to her, but she is powerful. Her name is Valerie Love, and I'm going to read her bio to you because I don't think that I can, really share it better than how it's shared here in her bio. So that can really give you an idea of who we're talking today, and it's a true pleasure for me to be here and interviewing Valerie. So, after 7 years, I'm going to pull this here, of advising clients as a financial planner with American Express, Valerie sold her financial planning practice in August of 2004 to pursue her dream and passion of writing and inspirational speaking. Since then, she's completed the writing and publication of 9 books on practical spirituality. She coaches clients globally on the power of living one's dharma and leads retreats in the U.S. and abroad. And I'm really, really excited to actually talk about that and what that means. She recently received the 2014 Empowered Women Impact Award for Visionary Leaders. Wow, congratulations. She is a certified trainer, spiritual life coach, and an ordained minister of spiritual consciousness. Affectionately known as the Divine Midwife, Valerie specializes in supporting clients in releasing pain and embracing pleasure with a proprietary coaching process known as the Wheel of Destiny, which focuses on 7 slices of the human life pie. And I'm not going to share them here now. We're going to talk about them in the interview. So, hey, Valerie, how are you?
I am wonderful, Dee. How are you? Thank you for having me here this afternoon. It's incredible. Love it.
I'm doing fantastic too. Thank you, and it's such a pleasure to have you here. And I'm so excited for this conversation because we usually do preliminary, 20-minute chat for these interviews, but our conversation went way longer, and that's because I think we had a really good conversation, and I can't wait for us to talk a lot about the things that we shared with each other the other day when we met up. So I would love for you, if you can share your story with us a little bit. Take us back to the beginning. Take us back to where you were a financial advisor, and how did you end up here? How did you transition and find, kind of got in touch with your passion and realized that you want to become a writer, write 9 books, and also inspire others?
Excellent question. Well, I always loved reading. Even when I was little, when I was a child, one of the most common places you could find me is with a book. It's just it's pasted between the pages of a book. So I always loved reading. And I remember saying to myself when I was a little girl, one day I'm going to grow up and I'm going to write a book. And so that was sort of this distant dream. And I always write. I always write. I love writing, and I write every day. And my writing appeared in the Wall Street Journal when I was about 17 years old. I was in high school, and my journalism classes, they loved the writing, and so it was in the newspaper. And I had some very early success with writing. I love writing. So but yet I was really kind of in the mindset that you can't live on doing what you love. That's your passion, but will it pay you? And you need to do something that will really pay you, that will pay the bills. So I went into financial planning with American Express. I loved it. I love financial planning because I'm naturally a people person. I love helping people. I love supporting people. And it was so exciting, this idea that I could help people to learn about finance and put their financial houses in order and achieve these financial goals. And I didn't realize that it was really life coaching because whenever I sat down with a client, here we are talking for 2 hours, an hour and a half about their life and what they're thinking about money and how they're feeling and what they're doing at work and how their life is coming along. That was the natural progression of the conversations. And then maybe the last 20 or 30 minutes, okay, this is your financial portfolio. This is what we're going to do. How do you like that? Oh, yeah, Val, sure, I trust you. Go right ahead. So I think, Dee Dee, when I reflect on it, a big part of it is that our dharma, our purpose, our path, our walk in life, it's always leaving clues, and it's always calling us. There's always the call of the soul, the yearning toward that which is most fulfilling for us. And sometimes the head is in the way with, yeah, but how's that going to make me money? That's kind of where I was with it. Mm-hmm. And a type A personality, very focused on success, driven and motivated. So I wasn't really so much thinking about living on this kind of airy-fairy, I'm going to be a writer and, live in coffee shops and listen to poetry. That was kind of airy-fairy for me. So I really had to get to the place where I could own why I was here on the planet and know within myself that it could sustain me, that doing what I love absolutely can turn into a business that sustains my lifestyle.
So it sounds like you were contemplating a lot, and I'm just curious, what was the process to step into that, to begin owning that this is what you're meant to do?
Well, I was always a spiritual person, so I always like praying, meditating, going to natural spaces, always to the park. And whenever I went to the park, well, here was the defining moment, Dee Dee. One day, I was on my way to my financial planning office, and I was going to be there a full day, and my assistant, who is my sister, she worked for me. She had already told me the day before, okay, these are the clients we're going to see today. This is what we're going to do. This is, their files are pulled, the drill, the thing that I go through all the time. And I stopped at Starbucks first before going to the office. And I walked into the Starbucks, and I saw over to the side a person, a man, who was sitting there, and he had his laptop, and he was working on his laptop, and he was in this sort of relaxed kind of mode, and I was in this go-getter, bless you, in this mode. And that I said to myself while I was standing right there on the line, I'm going to do that. I'm going to step off this treadmill, this rat race. Even though I enjoyed the client piece, there was a lot of the business that I didn't enjoy. It wasn't my sweet spot. I'm going to do that. I'm going to find a way to sit in Starbucks and write. And sure enough, that's exactly what I did. So that was the defining moment for me.
Sounds like a wake-up call, and really when you were sharing this, it kind of reminded me I recently saw Arianna Huffington in the California Women's Conference. She was speaking, and I'm glad to hear that your wake-up call was a little bit less traumatic than hers. She was sharing how she had just been in, a couple of years into launching the Huffington Post, and she woke up with, in a pile of blood in her office. She had fallen asleep hit her head on the desk, broke her cheekbone from exhaustion after going through, MRIs and all kinds of stuff to figure out what the heck is wrong. Doctors couldn't find anything but the fact that she was so stressed out, so exhausted. And sounds like you actually, had the wake-up call by just, seeing it. You know what? I'd rather do this. Very cool. So I want to find out more about the beginning stages. What happened from there? You had mentioned to me that you sold your business, and that took a little bit of transitioning. And I just want to find out more about the beginning of your business. Like, you decided you're going to do this. How did you? How were you able to trust yourself that that this would work out? It's a scary journey, and I know that a lot of people get prevented from taking the action to following their passion, to following what their heart's so yearning, and what they really want to be doing with their life. They get this just fear inside, get stuck, right? And I just want to find out how you were able to, courageously move forward and go for your dreams.
Well, that's an excellent question. I can't say I was courageous the whole time, because it took me 2 years from the time that I really felt that call of the soul that says, okay, go ahead, write your books, do workshops, be a speaker. I was already speaking at also when I was at American Express. That was my primary way of getting clients. So I knew that I was a speaker, a presenter, a trainer. I loved it, and clients responded. So I was already sort of, I was a little bit stuck, because it took me 2 years to actually sign the papers to financial planning practice from the moment I got the wake-up call. It took 2 years of sort of deliberating, well, soul, that's real nice to go off and write, but this is making me money, and this pays the bills. So, yeah, that kind of thing. So I did that. Really, it didn't serve me anymore to do it. After a while, what we're doing doesn't serve us anymore to do it. And we really have to make the decision, I'm going to move forward, even though I don't know what the outcome will be. I've got to take that first step in faith. That journey of 1,000 miles really does just start with the first step. And so many times I've asked the universe, well, show me step 10. And I haven't taken steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, or 9 yet. And so I think that gets in the way sometimes with us. We want to see, well, what's step 4? What's step 5? Before we take step 1. So really, step 1 was in front of me. Right. Maybe you don't know where it's going to take you. Maybe you don't know how much money you're going to make from it. You love it. And how can you ever go wrong with giving yourself to something you love? You love it. And you're just in another dimension, Valerie, when you're writing. So how can you go wrong? So I signed the papers. We did the deal. So now I have the checks coming in every month from my financial planning practice. I have no money concerns whatsoever, none. And I just got married. My husband was paying for everything, the house, everything. Literally, all I had to do each day was get up, shower, and write. That was literally all I had to do. Like all of that, I had over 200 clients. All the clients went away now. They were with the new advisor. All the phone calls, all the emails. Literally, there was this enormous void, and there was nothing to do but write. And so I gave myself to it. I write. Then a little bit of ADD set in. It's like, oh, I've got this great idea. The creative types, I've got this great idea. I could do that, or I could do that. So I had about 5 book manuscripts going at the same time, and I'm writing this, and I'm writing that. And you ever been there, Dee Dee? Where?
Oh yes. It's like you can't pick. I mean, you're so passionate about it all, and creativity's going.
That's right. And yet something's got to be completed, because as entrepreneurs, we don't get paid for starting things. We get paid for completing things, right? We get paid upon completion of our successful creation. So here I decided, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said he's also an author. So I had been going to now authors groups and authors meetings and how to publish your book and things like that. And it was really supportive. So he said to me, he was a published author already, a good friend of mine, and he was in a lot of magazines, and he was also writing his manuscript. So he said to me, Val, what are you working on? I said, oh, I've got this going, and I've got that, and this really good idea. And I said about 3 book ideas to him. And he said, wait a minute. And the word he said to me, I'll never forget. He said one word to me, and it changed everything for me. He said, finish. I said, what do you mean? He said, finish. I said, like, which one? There literally, Dee Dee, was a fear to commit to one particular book, one particular idea, and run with it and finish it. And I realized when he said finish, because if you met up with an editor, you wouldn't be able to give her anything. If you met up with an agent, you wouldn't be able to give her a finished product because you haven't finished anything. And when he said finish, it shook me out of that resistance to going ahead and finishing, because underneath it was fear of, is my writing really good? And am I going to really make it?
That is so huge. It's so big. Oh my goodness. Yes, and I can so relate, and I know so many people can relate too. This is actually what we're focusing right now with phase 1 of our Futuristic Academy curriculum. We have broken it down to 6 phases and really helping people step by step and not rushing into anything. And it really starts with that first phase, setting the foundation. And part of it is also, choosing your big idea, defining your niche, deciding what you really want to do and who you want to work with and what are you going to be providing to them, right? So it's very similar to your, book idea, but what a lot of people have is like, I have this passion and I have that passion and I have, I like these people and those people and I could create this and I could create that, and suddenly it's like, well, pick one. But there's this fear of like, well, I may miss on something, and for you it was actually, well, what if I, people don't like me, or if they don't like my writing, and what if I don't know, what other fears did you have? But that is so huge for people, and yes, you have to pick one idea and go with it, because unless you finish one, you can't really move on and go anywhere. But from that, I bet that opened up a lot of doors for then writing another book and another book until you have 9 right now, right?
That's right.
But if you were writing all of them at the same time...
and who can really effectively write 9 books at the same time? It can't be done.
Yes, and this is so true. Yes,
and I'll tell you,
go ahead.
I was going to add another little piece to that story, and the payoff for choosing one book idea, running with it, and giving all of me to it, and not looking back, because you've really got to cut the strings to all those other ideas, set them to the side for a moment. Maybe you'll get around to them at another time, and you've got to run with the thing that's in front of you with all you have, right? Not with even 99%. And 1% still kind of thinking, oh, but what about that? Because that 1% is enough to derail your wholeheartedness and your full commitment to the project. And clients will pick that up, right? They'll pick it up. So when I did commit myself, here was the payoff. I followed through. I got momentum on that one book. I got the agent. The agent got me a book deal. And they got me a 5-figure book advance. So it was well worth honing in, because that's how I got my literary career started, with writing books.
Yes. And this is so true for anything in life. If you really are committed to your journey, you learn how to stay focused, how to just like narrow your focus and just see that in a very determined way. I'm kind of, as you were speaking about it, it was reminding me how lately I started to use this technique to focus on what's important to me. but even on an emotional, like maybe there's something that, it's important for me to think about. It's something emotional that's triggering me, and I know that I have some important things coming up at work. So I consciously choose to, you know what, I'm going to close this door right now. I know this is something that is here. It wants to actually distract me. It's my ego's way of just being like, oh, do you really want to, take it to the next level in your business? Let's dig deeper into the pain here. That's, there's something that's bothering you. And I have actually now started to just like, hey, I'll think about you when I get what's important done right now. And so I close that door, and the same thing goes for projects. The same thing goes for this one business idea, writing this book or whatever it is, creating this product. You just focus on it. Don't even, have 0.3% thoughts about it.
That's right. And it works. It works.
Yeah. It works. So what was the first book that you wrote?
So the first book that I wrote is called God Speaks to Me. It's a book I write books on practical spirituality. Spirituality that you can take into the supermarket, spirituality that you can drive in the car with, because some spirituality is very high level, very esoteric, and maybe not quite so practical. But I wanted to write books that a mom could use in the supermarket when her 2-year-old is having a tantrum. Like, what do I do now? So the first book is about 5 women who triumph over tragedy by listening to the inner voice of wisdom. So it's called God Speaks to Me, 5 stories of women who triumph over tragedy by listening to the inner voice of wisdom. And it really is a book about 5 women that I knew. One is my mother, one's my grandmother, women that I knew that went through some very horrific life experiences. My grandmother experienced 2 of her children dying of drunk driving accidents. And I always wondered, how does a person's spirit still soar in the midst of tragedy? And that's what I explore in that very first book. And little did I know that when I got the book deal, the agent came back to me and she said, well, the publisher loves your book. We got the book deal, but they want to know would you also write a second book. So if you can do a 2-book deal, and here's the offer, and I was elated, and Dee, it was like hitting the lottery. When I write another book, like, do what I love, would I do more of it, and you're going to pay me more? Well, where's the no in that, right? So yes. Incredible. Yeah.
That's what happens. The universe opens doors and opportunities for you. Like you said, when you truly chose that you're going to do what you love, suddenly everything, the setup was perfect. You didn't have any more clients to deal with. All you could do is just write. You had all the free time in the world. Somebody else was even taking up the financial responsibilities. The universe was like, here, have the space, have the time. I'm going to open up opportunities for you because you are on purpose. Pretty sweet. I love it. I love it, and it's so inspiring, and I really hope that people watching this this interview today with us who feel like they're not stepping into their power, they're not doing what they love to be doing, and are afraid to take that step, to actually realize that when you actually courageously move forward and do what you love, what you're passionate about, it just and you're truly in that space of trust and openness and open to receive what comes to you, things happen. Things happen. They come to you. You attract them.
That's right.
That's what I believe in. That's awesome.
Yeah. And, to that point about the universe being supportive, we really live in a very supportive universe, but we don't believe that. And so if we would just be willing to, as you said, trust enough to try it out, we find that the universe is always carrying us. Ernest Holmes says a wonderful quote, the universe carries us, we do not carry it. So that's so powerful, that if you really are about love and service and living from that space of love, how could the universe not carry you? It has to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So I want to find out how did you make that tough decision, of choosing this specific book? What was it about that topic, that specific book that, I don't know, I don't want to say it was better, but it was like you felt like this is the first thing you want to do and it took priority over the other ones. How do you make that decision? Because I know a lot of people are stuck on just making a decision about that.
Okay, that's a great question. I follow the inner wisdom. That's what the book was about. So I decided to take my own advice. It's good when we do that, isn't it? When we take our own advice. So, sometimes we're great at teaching other people what to do and supporting other people, and then in our own lives, it's like, am I doing what I just helped someone else do? Can I do that for myself? Mm-hmm. And the book is all about follow your inner guidance. It will lead you. And that really sometimes is such a faith walk. It's almost like putting blindfolds on and being literally led around like a blind person or a child, that childlike trust. And it works. It works. So I made the decision not to live from the head, to live from the heart, that I was going to follow my loves. And I would let that be my guiding light, my beacon, and that I wouldn't try to figure it out, because I saw that trying to figure it out didn't get me the result I wanted. Yet I did know that there was this greater thing that was drawing me on by what I loved. So if I follow what I love, I'm going to get there. And so I honed in on that intuitive voice and following my passion, following the heart. And it worked.
Awesome. Yes. That is so important. Follow your passion, follow your heart, follow the intuition, really start listening. Wonderful. I want to find out about the Wheel of Destiny. The Wheel of Destiny, and just tell me about it in the 7 slices of the human life by. This is your coaching process, and I kind of want to just introduce people to it, and then what we're going to do, we're going to dive even deeper, and we'll go into the premium part of this interview, where people can access it inside Futuristic Academy. Why don't we just share a little bit about what that is?
Okay, so the Wheel of Destiny is a tool to discover where you are in your life in totality. So it's a way to look at the overall life in a harmonious fashion. So if you can imagine a pie, I actually have a picture of it. It's sort of a rough draft because I teach clients to draw it. So I'll show you a drawing of it. It's sort of a rough draft. So it just looks like a simple circle. I'm a real simple gal. I like things very simple. So it just looks like a simple circle with 7 slices. And in each slice, you simply count or put a simple score on where you are from 1 to 5. So the 7 slices are faith. So that's your connection to spirit, to source, whatever that is for you. The second is fulfillment. So are you living your purpose? Do you feel you're on purpose? Do you know what your purpose is? The third is family. That includes your intimate partnerships. And how is that working for you? Is it working? Is it not working? The fourth is friends, and that includes your communities, your teams, the people you work with, all the groups you're associated with. These are your friends. Are they supportive? It includes mentors, coaches, proteges. Are they supportive? Are your groups and communities really helping you to get to where you want to be? Are you hanging out in the wrong clan, Mm-hmm. 5 is fitness. And so it's how do you take care of the body temple? It encompasses eating, exercise, and self-care. And then 6 is finances. So how do you handle the body of your finances? Are you paying attention to saving, investing? And that was a lot that I talked about in financial planning, saving, investments, and really taking care of your money as an integral aspect of your life. And the 7th slice is fun. Like, what do you do just because it makes your toes curl? And we like to infuse fun in everything because fun is really the slice of life. Like, if you don't have a vacation where you do nothing or you simply just swing in a park. I love swinging. So if you swing in a park just because you love doing it, then that adds a zest to the other areas. So those are the 7, and it's sort of channeled to me, I guess, from divine wisdom, once again following that intuition. And it gave me a roadmap, and it gave me a really clear way of assessing where a client is in their overall life satisfaction, life fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So what do you usually find out? What's most common?
What is most common is that two areas of the life are absolutely horrible. So there are two areas of most people's lives that are really bad. Usually there are three that are really good, and usually there are two or three that are quite mediocre. So that's what it usually looks like. So the two that are really bad, they're creating pain in the client's life, either in finances or in health. Maybe they got a disastrous diagnosis from a doctor, or maybe they have a relationship issue. Their significant other and them are in some kind of really not harmonious way of relating to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then maybe the faith part is going great, the fulfillment part is going great, but they've got this thing that's really a problem. So they come to me to get them unstuck out of that pain. It's like a dentist. You know, when you get a bad toothache, you've got to get to the dentist. Well, I'm kind of like the dentist for the spirit. So that's usually what it looks like. Two areas are pretty bad when clients come to see me. Now, in an ideal life, you want all seven to be rocking. You want all seven to be great. That's really whole living.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, absolutely. You know, I want to talk about, because we have a section inside phase 1 of our curriculum on balancing the body, mind, and spirit for success. And that seems so much, you know, part of how you actually do that is when you start, you know, bringing all these areas of your life up to like its highest potential, its highest point, and make the circle, you know, round and being able to just move, right? So I want to talk about that, and I also want to talk about, you know, you had mentioned that your favorite thing to talk about is what keeps people stuck. I want to find out your perspective on that, and especially when they really want to move forward. And actually, you know, how do you help them get unstuck and, you know, move from pain into pleasure, so that, you know, they're really moving toward what they want to create in life. I want to talk about this, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to continue talking. So for everybody who is watching us here, Valerie and I will continue talking for probably another 40-45 minutes inside Futuristic Academy, our premium membership. And if you want to join this conversation, you can just click on the link below this video and join us inside Futuristic Academy. I'll see you there.